This is The Fort Builders, the podcast where we explore the moments, memories, and meaning that made someone who they are, and discover what we might build in our own lives because of it. I'm your host, Lance Johnson. Welcome to The Fort. Let's begin. Today's guest on the Fort Builders podcast is Coach Mike Akers. Mike and I actually go way back to our days growing up in Hays, Kansas. Long before he was building nationally competitive golf programs, he was a kid from Western Kansas helping lead the Hays High boys golf team to a state championship and learning lessons about preparation, discipline, and doing the little things right. Since then, Mike has built an incredible coaching career. He's currently the head women's golf coach at the University of North Texas, where he's transformed the program into a consistent conference champion and postseason contender. Before North Texas, he spent 10 seasons at Texas State, leading the Bobcats to multiple conference championships and NCAA regional appearances. Along the way, he's earned numerous Coach of the Year honors and built a reputation of one of the most respected coaches in collegiate golf. But what stood out to me in this conversation wasn't the trophies or the rankings and accolades. It was Mike's belief that success always comes back to people, relationships, culture, attention to detail, and helping others become more than they thought they could be. Whether he's recruiting athletes from around the world or coaching players one-on-one, Mike has spent his career building winners, not just on the golf course, but in life. The deeper lesson here isn't really about golf. It's about building people, building culture, and understanding that success is usually the result of hundreds of small things done well over time. So with that, here's my conversation with Coach Mike Akers. All right. Well, cool. We're rolling. Welcome to the Fort. Today's guest, somebody that I've known just for a few years, going back quite a few. I've been looking forward to this, but my guest today is Mike Akers. He is the head women's golf coach at the University of North Texas. Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green. And, you know, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure you're right in the middle and thick of things, given this is springtime rolling into summer. But thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So for the listeners out there, when I say I've known you for a minute, I'm not going to do the math, but let's just say we were in grade school and grew up together back in Hays, yeah. Hays, Kansas. And for those out there, this podcast is the Fort Builders, not to mistake it. And sometimes I'll call it Welcome to the Fort. I know, Mike, you spent some time at the real fort out in Fort Hays, the real fort. Yeah. I had somebody ask me when I first started this podcast, they said, so I'm confused. Is your podcast about forts? Because I know Fort Larned, Fort Hays, and I just don't know how you could sustain a podcast. But I don't know if there's that many forts out there. So
that's fun.
Yeah, but so those that have not listened or know what the Fort Builders about, the reason for the name and is really to capture it's kind of an analogy of growing up as a kid, building forts with my brothers, and it goes back to being a time of creativity, you know, just having fun and doing stuff. And so I hope this can be fun this time together today, and just if you can find that in yourself of reflecting back of, gosh, when you're younger, before world put layers on you, what did you want to do someday? And then really, how did you get from there? How do we become who we are? How did you get from there to here? So you are head women's golf coach at North Texas State, and it's kind of apropos that we're talking about this now. We just came off a high school golf season for me personally here in here in Lawrence, and takes me back to remembering our days on Hayes High's golf team.
No question. So when I saw you posting about watching your son, and then Garden City was where regionals was that was certainly brought me back too. And then you had texted me, well, what was our winning score? And obviously it was higher than we see now. But to be honest, like when we won the state championship, looking back and now I've recruited some young ladies out of Cape and Mount Carmel and kind of know what Wichita has compared to Hayes, Kansas, and really it was a huge upset for us to win. And granted, back then it was a one-day deal, but you know what, we were state champions, and certainly brought back a ton of memories watching you watch your son and then go there this week. Really incredible time. And we had just graduated too. I think we went project graduation, and I recall I left project graduation early, went to sleep, and then I drove by myself to Independence to get extra practice rounds in, and then met you guys like 2 or 3 days later. But I spent nights in a hotel by myself in Independence, playing. I think I played 3 practice rounds before our state championship. And like thinking back, like I have a 16-year-old now, like to think my dad, mom let me drive to Independence, which is 5 hours from home, stay in a hotel by myself at age 18. Like I'm just like, wow, no cell phones back then.
Right.
Yeah. Just amazing.
No, and those were the days when you had to get out the folded map, right? You couldn't put back. Yeah, you had to sit there and navigate that, which I don't. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You call my dad would call AAA and get the map in the mail highlighted with the route, and then have little marks where construction was. And
yeah.
So I have players now that are baffled that I can drive them up to Norman, Oklahoma, and go to where OU's hosting the golf tournament without GPS. They find that unbelievable. But I've been going up to Norman for countless years, and I know which way to go. And I do it often without GPS, but I've learned in the DFW area that can be bad sometimes with traffic. So the GPS does add that component of traffic, which I've been burned a few times where I'll jump on the highway going to work or wherever, and then it's a standstill that I should have looked because there's alternate ways to go.
Man, I'm so glad you brought back the kind of the memory lane, going back and think about. I don't know that I ever knew that, or if I did, I don't remember it. That you came out on your own and made that trek, and it makes me think of going and watching the regionals and then the state golf, the amount of the parental support and gallery now that, my parents told me that I would not let them come watch them or watch me. So at least that was their excuse. And I probably didn't, but gosh, the amount of parents.
It's totally different for sure. Mine were at the state championship, but they had never left the clubhouse.
Okay.
And they were there, watching through the window. I made a bomb putt on the last hole right by the clubhouse there, and I think it was for par, like a 30-footer per par. But they were looking through the windows, and but you're right. Even in college golf, on the women's side in particular, the amount of spectators it's great to see. It's great to see people out there watching, and we went down to the regionals in Waco. Baylor was the host, and just a huge amount of spectators. I mean, most of them are parents, but you also have grandparents and brothers, sisters, friends. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things I wanted to ask you. The perspective looking back, and so of, like you said, one of our rivals, and thinking back how big of a deal it was at the time to to win state for Hayes and beat Capon, but you've got some insight, right? You're on kind of the side of coaching and programs and seen that. But I guess that's the question I was going to ask you, just from an overall recruiting, as you're recruiting young women to come play, just what do you encounter as far as programs out there? And I'm going to guess you're working with parents and all kinds of, I mean, I don't know the sophistication
I
of
mean,
it. Yeah.
somewhat, but I've had to go the international route. Both I spent 10 years at Texas State. Now I'm 10 years at UNT, and in
Okay.
both places I had to go the international route, and it's proven very well. And I'm fighting the perception battle. Both schools, very good schools. We have almost 50,000 students at UNT, very large institution.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
yeah, very bigger than almost all the Big 12 schools. But and now, granted, football this year for UNT, we were ranked 24th, so we had all kinds of national coverage. So we certainly got on the map. But back in the 70s, when they were called North Texas State, they had some huge success in football. And so the mean
Okay.
green, and it's also unique. So when I go across the country, I hear mean green everywhere. But to answer your question, to be honest, I want to be talking to the prospect, the student athlete directly. And because I'm leery of, if a parent is over involved and she gets on the team, are we going to deal with that? So
Yep.
actually, certainly a sticking point for me is, and also, does the young lady enjoy playing golf, enjoy practicing, or is it something that she's been forced into? Because you'll see that girls sometimes will peak at 14, 15, 16. They get into college and they'll get worse over the time in college. So, it's predicting the future. Got to find the ones that enjoy the game. They're going to practice. And to be honest, the vast majority of the players I've had in the last 6 years here at UNT have wanted to play professional golf. So they're going to put in the extra time.
Okay.
Because the NCAA only allows us 20 hours a week, and that doesn't cut it. If you want to be an elite golfer, you have to put in more time. And I can't tell them go practice extra on your own, or can't say. I mean, a lot of coaches do say optional. I don't do that. I follow the rules. And but if you get the right young lady on the team, they're going to put in those extra hours because they want to go pro. And we have the facilities here. We have a facility I'm sitting in on campus. It's about 150 yards from the dorm. They have a fob. They use it 24/7, and it's been a game changer for us, recruiting and once they get here to develop and practice.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point about kind of self-motivated or self-motivation, and obviously golf's an individual sport, right? I mean, it's a team, but you really have no excuse other than yourself on how you play. And you could even, let's call it, quote, put in the time, but not even be practicing maybe like you should. And so I'm going to use me as an example that I remember back thinking, okay, I'm hitting balls or I'm practicing, but I was kind of maybe half there. I might have been thinking about other things and I really wasn't that invested, but I could tell myself that I was putting in the time. And so I guess what I'm saying is you can game it. You can game anything if you say, hey, we need you to be out here and do this. So at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I trying? Do I want to? How bad do I want it? That
golf,
probably goes with any sport, but
it pretty much, you get instant feedback with golf, and I've seen it over the years with people, they may have been at the facility or at the course for 6 hours, but how much was actual practice? You're better off putting in a really all-in shorter practice than wasting time. I had a player in the past that was on the putting green with their headphones on, watching Netflix and putting at the same time. How much was she actually gaining from that, right?
Yeah,
So, she can say I was on the putting green for 2 hours, but how much actually good occurred by trying to putt and watch Netflix at the same time?
Right. Well, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like I spend time in a gym, but I really don't. So let's just say over my life, there's been times when I've belonged to a gym, and I walk in there, and there's people sitting on the equipment, like you said, watching something, and
Yeah.
they're sitting there for quite a while, and whoever they're telling themselves that they're working out. Yeah, I don't know, but
Yes. And on the
yeah,
tours, when I'm giving a tour of campus, we go through the student rec center. We have got a really nice student rec center. And I always joke because I've seen this time and time again. And this, I guess this could be called a stereotype, but I've seen this that the males will be kind of walking around looking in the mirror, and then the females are working harder. And maybe that's just the time frame that I happen to walk through there and witness that. But I've joked with recruits and their parents over the
right.
years, like when we go through there, um, you know, we've got a ton of the ellipticals and the stairmasters, treadmills, and it's just observation and may not be
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
It may
right.
be the timing that I walk through there and witnessing these things, but it's pretty humorous.
Yeah. Are you still playing? I
Play
mean,
a
do you
little
get to
bit.
play?
I would tell you what's helped. I have my youngest is 10, and he's wanting to play golf this summer. So we went and played a course
Okay.
close a couple days ago. He's here right now at the facility practicing. He's got a tournament next week, and so he is getting me back into it, which is great. Part of it is we're used to play at a pretty fair level, and then aging and not practicing don't play as well, so it's frustrating. But he is getting me back into
You
it,
are
and
preaching to the choir.
yeah,
Yep.
everybody in the
Yeah.
family plays, and one of my favorite things is for the whole family to go out and play. And my wife played D1 golf, really good player, and she's very competitive. So we went out a couple years ago. We went up to Windstar, just played 9 holes for fun, and she hadn't played forever. Shot one under, beat me. So it's but
Wow.
we can go out, and I have a 16-year-old, and he's left-handed. He plays for fun, but it's one of my favorite things to do is the whole family to go out and play, and
Yeah.
certainly enjoyable. But to answer the question, my little guy is
Eh,
certainly inspiring me to get back into it and play some more because he's all in. That's all he wants to do this summer is play golf tournaments. And I said, buddy, and it's so much
Wow.
easier than I guess I mean, to me now a 30-minute drive is nothing. When I lived in Hayes, thinking to drive to Russell was a huge deal, so it's all
Right,
in
right,
perspective.
right. It's
But
clear
they've
out of
got all
town.
these
Yeah.
the North Texas PGA does a great job with beginner juniors, and they have different divisions. They play modified tees depending on your skill level and your age. It's really, really good. When you and I played junior
Mm,
golf, it was red tees, and there were certainly holes we couldn't even think about getting on a regulation when we were 9 or 10.
right,
So I really
right.
like the thought that they have put into
Y-
to try to give these kids a chance to hit the green in regulation and get around the course, and then
that-
ultimately bring them back.
Right, right. Really get that. That's exactly right. The feel of actually birdieing or parring a hole versus
Yes.
you got to play the full length as a junior and you get a 6 or 7, and what is that? That's not
Yeah.
that much fun. But
Right.
yeah, no, that is great that they do
Smoky Hill
that.
number
Yeah.
4, the par 3. As
Oh
a
yeah.
young child trying to carry the water,
Yeah.
that was a big deal. And pull out a water ball and
Yeah.
put it in
Oh
the
yeah.
water, and
Yep. Yep.
so yeah,
Uh,
a lot of great memories
s-
for sure.
so well, you say I still pull out. I don't really pull out water balls, but I pull out. I know I'm going to probably hit it off the course ball, and so yeah, I usually I'm in my pocket a lot of times now. So, so you said it early, and it's so good to hear. I mean, I'm thinking you're somebody that's just gotten better and better because you're around the game all the time, and you just verbalized exactly what I have come to deal with as well. I took about, I don't know, a decade, let's call it, off because I had 2 daughters that didn't get into golf, and you're going through life and you're doing other things, and so I kind of quit playing, and I took a lot of time off. And now my son in the last 4, 5, 6 years, he's gotten into it, And so I got back into golf because of him. Just like you
Good.
said, your youngest has brought you back. If not for my son Brady, I don't know. I might have hung it up. In fact, my youngest brother, would probably say I have. But it's so frustrating to go out and not play and I wouldn't even expect to play to the level. It's just, can I not be in my pocket? Can I actually finish a hole? So it's gotten me back into it. So it's good to hear that from you.
And I saw your brother not too long ago. I was playing Smokey and pulled one on 5 down the left side, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get on the green. And he was outside, so I ran into him, which was great. And, looking back, like the whole coaching thing, when you and I started texting back and forth about this, I got to thinking, our brothers were the same age. Obviously you have another brother, but, and I remember, I don't remember how old they were.
We do claim that middle one. Just those out there. I'm glad you remember.
They're all great. Your brothers are great. But, Brandon and Scott started this Nerf basketball league, and we had this thing set up, and they would play at our house. And I remember even getting T-shirts. And they were young, but thinking back then I coached Scott's soccer team when I was in high school. So that coaching bug, I guess, kind of hit me, and I totally forgot about it. It's been so long that I had forgotten that. But thinking about your family and the history we have, and what great parents you have. Your parents are absolutely amazing. I worked with your mom when I was a pro at Smokey. Your mom was working at Fort Hays. We'd work together on a tournament.
Oh, that's right.
And then your dad was friends with my father-in-law who passed away. And of course, your dad steps up to help. I got a bench done, put it Smokey, and your dad stepped right in there, got the concrete down, got the bench laid, like just typical Ken Johnson fashion. He just, we were both blessed with great parents, for sure.
I was just going to say right back at you. I knew your dad better than I knew your mom, but just because through coaching and sports, he was out there. But I don't know that I can remember your dad not smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
That guy had such an infectious personality and attitude. I mean, just always. And of course, we grew up, he was our eye doctor, and so.
He and your dad coached Brandon and Scott's baseball. I found a ball the other day with their autographs on it. My dad still had. So it's pretty awesome. But we were both very fortunate in the parent department, for sure.
You got it. Yes, yes, and that has a big impact and effect, right, on our lives that others don't always, or others don't get. So you mentioned Smokey. I know at one point, and maybe you still got it. Do you still have the course record?
I do. So there's a little bit of controversy there. They had a college tournament, and I think kid from maybe one of the Missouri schools, they made 2 a par 4, and so that kind of threw it off. And so I think that he shot 62 as well, but it wasn't the same par. But yeah, as far as I know, that's the only person that's ever. And they made the course got harder. When I was there, we redid the course, and so I had it on the original course, and then we added the pond on 9, made some changes to some green complexes, like 6 is very challenging now. But anyway, that was a fun. I still have that scorecard in my office. That was a fun day, and. What a cool course. When I go back to see Tamara's family, it's always go out to Smokey and play, and, just grab the cart and play, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I remember you were a big Nicklaus fan, and I think you had his putter at one point, that huge putter. And I think it was maybe our junior year. I can't remember exactly, but when Nicklaus won the Masters, when he came out at 45, I think right after that, I went out and played. Right after the Masters finished, I went out and played, and I shot my best round that I'd ever shot. Unfortunately, it's by myself. Nobody saw it, but it was the lowest that I've to date been able to get to, and yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time.
Yep, that's
so
watching the Masters still inspires me. Like, it's my favorite tournament, and
yeah,
I've been able to go.
yeah.
I guess 6 or 7 times now I've been. I get in free with my PGA card. And so my brother has gone, I think, 16 out of the last 17 years, something like that. He goes by himself most of the time, and just his tradition. And we used to go together, but when I got into coaching, you know, it's hard to go over there in April because we have so much going on. But it's it's worth the trip just to walk the course, much less the golf.
Yeah, just right.
It's absolutely amazing.
Well, you mentioned looking back or thinking back, you feel like maybe you got the coaching bug or it was there, and obviously we witnessed your dad doing it, so he was an influence. But
yeah,
one thing I've seen, if I look back, and I don't know all the details of your coaching life and things, but what comes across, you're a builder. I mean, in a sense of building programs. Everywhere you've gone, it seems like you've taken it and made it better and built it and then moved on. And I just, that's pretty cool. I guess is just what you've done at the programs you've been at. And I don't know if you want to speak to any of that. You might feel like patting yourself on the back, but your touch on the programs have been, I would say, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been, and I ran into, you always got to be careful of when you take a job, what's been laid down in front of you. I would certainly feel like there are probably some places where it's been so good, it might be hard to keep that. But when I went to Texas State, they were ranked 150th in the country. And I mean, it was rough. Like, from a financials component, the recruiting budget when I got there was $500. So, what can you do with $500? So I did invest with my own money. I flew to Europe and did some recruiting. I think initially at Texas State, I spent about $10,000 of my own money to recruit, and landed a top 5 recruiting class, like 2007. And anyway, got that program into the top 25. And was honestly looking, like, I had interviewed at a lot of different places. And Oregon State was a prime example. Like, they flew me up there, and then when you start looking at the cost of housing, the cost of living in a place like Oregon compared to Texas, the salary bump was not a bump. So I think my wife and I did a really good job there of doing the math and not just jumping on a $20,000 bump. That may not be a $20,000 bump. So we kind of had, been at Texas State, and then just got to thinking, let's just stay here. Let's set roots. There was not, doing well over and above anything that administration could have ever asked or hoped. So we built a house. We bought a lot in the neighborhood we were already living in, and we actually built our dream home, so to speak. So we designed the whole thing. We built it. And within months, UNT coach, he resigned, and I was friends with the men's coach. So I started getting, and actually one of the administrators from Ellis, Mike Akers, who we grew up.
Really?
We played junior golf against Mike Akers when we were little. So I started getting these, and initially I was like, wasn't a fan of the color green. So we just built our house, and so initially shot it down. And then the men's coach said, "Hey, are you going to drive through here when you go to Kansas for Christmas?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, stop by UNT." So stop by, look at the campus, look at some of the courses they have, and then they had just gotten a partnership with Merido, which is an incredible golf course about 30 minutes from campus. And then they told me about a donor named Bruzzy Westheimer, who he was already like setting up to be involved. And so it's like, that got my interest. Well, then UNT came to the tournament I hosted at Texas State in February of that year. and they had the brand new Sprinter van. And so their coach was staying in the same hotel that I was. And so that van was parked right next to my personal car. I started looking at it, and then I started thinking more and more. And then they came after me with a really good offer. And so then Tamara and I started talking, and ultimately my Texas State team won the conference championship that year. We went to regionals, and the hardest part was the ladies, like telling the ladies that I was leaving. Like I was in tears, they were in tears, and it's family. Like they are an extended family to me.
Right.
And I think one of the reasons I've had success is that I do. It's very personal to me. They are a family. I certainly fight for them. But anyway, ultimately, UNT was ranked 200th when I got here, but all the potential in the world. Like, and now we've also cracked the top 25, and we rattled off 3 championships in a row. We've just done some crazy things. And to be honest, what inspires me is beating. Like I probably have 32 wins against KU in my, beating KU, K-State, Oklahoma, Texas.
Right.
Texas is one I'm not supposed to beat. I think I have 4 wins against Texas in my career. Like that inspires me. That is my driving force. And I used to have a little checklist on my office door for these wins. And so it's certainly in the hundreds now of Power 4 wins. And it's certainly a driving force for me. But to be honest, with the resources I have at UNT, the weather, Bruzzy Sport, and many other great donors, to be honest, I feel like I should be beating those. I've made a habit of beating Big Ten schools. Like I don't recruit negative, but I'm certainly not scared to educate people on climates of Michigan compared to Texas, because for a golfer, it makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
But it's been an amazing, amazing run. Like it's just been, and it boils down to people. Like, as you know, you've been very, very, you've had a great business life. And then how many of your connections have led to that? How many of those relationships for you have led to business deals? So obviously you have to know what you're doing in your line of work. But man, I tell you what, and I think, you alluded back to my dad, like watching my dad have relationships with the patients, the way he interacted with patients and the whole Hayes community.
That's right.
Really learned a lot.
His involvement.
From that. And, in my line of work, people, it boils down to people and taking care of people, and good things happen.
Yeah, I've got a former mentor. I don't know if he made the phrase up or saw it somewhere, but I love it, and I've kind of adopted it and taken it and stole it, whatever you want to call it. But he would always say it's 90% people and it's 20% people. It's all about the people. And
that's really good.
And as an engineer that should know math, right? That it just sticks out because
that's really good.
You're exactly right. And anything that I would tell you, if I look back, anything that I've been successful at or done well at, it's because of other people, either partner or somebody giving me an opportunity or a chance. And a lot of times the things that I've messed up are when I'm being selfish or not doing it with someone else. So once you've gotten and done things this long, you realize it's people. And so what I was going to say, you clearly are building culture, when you've been there for a while. And you're right. It's not just one person. I heard a great analogy one time that culture's kind of like, when we were kids, you remember laying in I don't know if everybody does this, but when you keep the balloon up in the air in a room and nobody lets the balloon touch the floor. And I've heard culture compared to that balloon, that it's the balloon in the room, that there's no one thing, but it takes all of us just with the constant touches, and you got to kind of keep doing that. And it over time you build that culture, and there's no question that you do that and you're doing it. And something else that I saw
when you get it going, the student athletes do a lot of it. Like with the grade thing, the GPA that these teams have been doing, like, of course, I do talk about academic excellence, and at the end of the day, you may get in a car wreck and never play golf again. You need to have your education. But I had 6 out of 8 have 4.0s this spring, and it's this has been going on for years. Like these GPAs, team GPAs of 3.8, 3.9, like insane amount of work that they put in. And now I think it's like they don't want to be the person to have a B, you know. I mean, it's like that.
Right.
It's like that crazy that they take care of their academics. And you know, it helps, you know, when you have a reputation across campus that what the student athletes are accomplishing when you miss for tournaments, because golf is different than football. Football, you're flying out and you're missing maybe a day, if that, of class. We go out and we're gone 5 days, you know, so we're missing a lot of class. And but when you have that reputation, then the professors are more apt to work with you. You know, they know that these ladies are serious about their classes and academics, and so most of the professors are very good about it when they miss.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to mention, I think somewhere I read your highest GPA in the athletics department.
That's been seven
something like
in
that.
a row.
That's just
Last year we were 4th in all of Division I. Our GPA was the 4th, and we were the most competitive athletic team out of the top 10 for sure. But you know, it's as you said, culture, and the analogy that you just said, I think it's spot on, that it's not one person doing this, it's a collective group that is keeping this going.
Yeah. And eventually, like you said, it kind of begets itself. People, the ones that are recruiting, then they talk to a couple of the players, and the players kind of say, hey, this is this. Because when you're not in the room, right, they're going to probably talk to their peer or somebody else, and the peer's going to say, yeah, this is what we do. You know, coach says, I mean, we got 20 hours, you know, and it's that accountability, expectation. And then you start, oh gosh, you get the girls to, or the women to buy in, and that's awesome. So I wanted to ask you, you said it earlier and I didn't stop you. You said you went international, and so not only did you do it here, but you did it at Texas State. So why did you start going down that path? I guess early on at the other place or this place, is it just so you could, let's call it the top, what did you say, Power 4, you just couldn't get those women. They're going to go to they're going to go to the Texas or the others or KU or whatever those schools are. And so to build that reputation, you had to look somewhere else. Is that to build the credibility?
Perception, like I said, now that we certainly have some good things going with our football team from this past year, but you know, Texas State, I'm trying to beat Texas or Texas A&M, and at the time when I got there, Texas State wasn't even FBS. We were in the Southland Conference, and so anyway, it was just easier. And you know, I certainly go after Texans first, but it was easier to pick up the internationals, and then once that started, develop these. You know, some of these countries are small, and so the word gets around pretty quick. Thailand right now is kind of my hot one, and incredible young lady golfers come out of Thailand. It's unbelievable what they do in the junior programs there. But if you looked across America, you would see dozens and dozens and dozens of Thai ladies playing. And now some of the guys too. I know A&M had a really good male golfer out of Thailand, but this recruiter that he's kind of specializes in Thailand, he told me that all of these players that he's representing, they write down their top 5 choices in America where they want to go, and UNT is now in the top 5 out of all the players in Thailand, and so that's word of mouth. You know, it's crazy,
right?
but done really well with that country. But I had a couple of South Africans. I've had 3 from India. These different niche, and I try to recruit in pairs. Like I try them to have a friend. I had 2 sisters from Latvia. The other thing I noticed, some of the smaller countries where they grew up being the best, they're used to winning and they're used to being the best. And sometimes in America, the competition is so stringent that you kind of get beat down and you get used to top 30 or top 20 finishes. And I had a young lady from Latvia. Latvia had 3 courses when she grew up there, and she was the best. And she came to Texas State, a hard worker, and she became an All-American at Texas State. To become an All-American at Texas State is unbelievable, just with the perception. And we did play really good tournaments, but anyway, I think back to that. I've had Iceland, another small country. I've had a very good player out of there. So I think maybe there's something.
Wow.
And to be honest, like where we grew up, we were state champions in a smaller state. Like that mentality I've had of just thinking I should be able to compete and maybe not knowing any better.
I think you're right. It's a mix. I think there's a hunger. There's potentially a chip on your shoulder. I got something to prove. There's probably naivete. I mean, there's probably all of it, right? And you mix that in. I think that's very fascinating. I hadn't thought about the difference of international.
There was a board when I was the pro at Smoky. There was a board member there, and felt like I'd done a good job there. I was starting to get some other country clubs reaching out, and anyway, she sat down with me one-on-one, and she told me that, you're a big fish in a small pond in Hays, Kansas, and you may not do well out in a big pond. That's what she told me. And that stuck with me forever. Now, that was the golf pro side, but I've thought about that many times, that you chip on your shoulder, like that right there. It's been 30 years ago, and it still sticks with me. Like, I don't know where she is now, but it's like, lady, I've done pretty good in the big pond, and it's certainly a driving force.
Isn't that something that stayed? And I've got similar, how that sticks with you. Wow. Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said that, because I had heard something from a colleague the other day, and I think they had posted it or said it. The power in words. And not only just what she said to you, but also words of encouragement, right? Just
right.
For somebody to feel seen and be given, let's call it a thread of hope or some kind of positive, because where she was coming from in her, let's call it in her world, she works with a lot of kids that have challenges, and in their lives, they don't have the dads like you and I had, and let's call it the community around us that could give us that hope, that optimism, and just having somebody, the impact and the power of having somebody just say, I believe in you. You can do this. There are a lot of kids that don't get that. But it's interesting that it stuck with you. And you could I bet you right now, I'm sure you can think back to the room, what it looked, the person, how that was delivered, and just,
And you know what? Probably he was wanting me to stay at Smoky. So it was a compliment, I guess, the fact she wanted me to stay at Smoky, but I didn't take it that way. I've used it as motivation for
sure. That's funny. Oh gosh. Well, I was just gonna ask you. You've been back recently. It sounds like, you hit my brother's yard. So
I didn't get into your brother's yard. I was inbound.
Okay, well, it's easy to do on that on.
There's not much grass over there on that left side.
That hard pan, no,
it goes forever.
No. But I'm usually playing from 2 fairways, so
you like that side.
So I was gonna. Not that I like it. It's just that's the direction my ball goes. Yep. Well, you probably can answer this. So I was going to say, so when you go on vacation, do you take your clubs and play golf? And I think you're gonna say no. So,
Right.
given you're just, or maybe you are since you're getting back into it. But
Well, it's
yeah,
when you fly, it's just another thing you got to bring.
yeah,
And during COVID, we
yeah.
did a lot of driving. We drove to Branson, and we played in Branson. And here's a crazy story: we get to Branson, and I call a golf course there. It's right next to the hotel we were staying at. And one of my junior golfers at Smoky's, the head pro there, just randomly, I just started talking to
Oh,
him
and you didn't
and
know that?
recognized the voice. He played golf at TMP in high school. And so went out and caught up with him in the pro shop, and we had a great night playing golf. But when we fly, we don't take the clubs, and when we drive, we sometimes do. But most
Yeah,
of the golf's
yeah,
played in the DFW area. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So do you have a favorite place you guys tend to go to?
Key
Or
Largo's
you just kind of as far as, I'm sorry, not golf, vacation. Yeah.
Key Largo. We hit about 4 or 5 years ago, and so we've been there
Uh-huh.
every year. We go back 2 weeks. We go back. Place called Baker's Cay Resort, right there. Great beach. Just a place you can sit under the mangrove trees in the shade and just relax. And don't have to have the passport. It's
Yeah.
very either flying to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, short
Yep.
drive.
Easy.
But that's been
Yeah.
our spot. And the boys have
Okay.
stuff to do, and Tamara and I can relax. It's great. So we will on spring
Yeah.
break we will pop down there for a couple of days to a place called Duck Key, just south of Key Largo. But we've enjoyed the Keys, and I don't remember how we stumbled on it in the first
Okay.
place, but it's been really fun.
Do you get like a break, like an off season where because I can imagine recruiting could just be all the time, right?
It
And
is.
yeah, and you've got a couple women getting ready to do some postseason, or are they already? I mean, I don't know. Do you ever get any?
Yeah, they just spent. I mean, it's August to May, so it is a long deal. During the Christmas break, you have about 30 days where they all go home, and I typically go to a tournament at Doral in Miami. It's a big. There's a lot of international players there, and I've gotten a few over the years. But the summer's my time to kind of catch up. But there's still a lot of recruiting that happens.
Okay.
San Diego is the Junior World Championship. It's at Torrey Pines most of the time, so that's a great place to go. All the best players in the world are there, and you're walking on Torrey, 72-degree weather, and that's a really good one. But so there's some I go to every year. Then there's some, depending on who I'm recruiting, that I'll make special trips to evaluate. And then in our region, Texas is just a hotbed of junior golf and great tournaments. So it's
right.
It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Not a bad gig to basically have to go to the golf course every day and walk some pretty nice places.
I really enjoy watching them play. The caliber that my ladies play at, it is, and I also enjoy when they're on the range and you see some males that are on the range, they will look up, and it's pretty funny watching their facial expressions. Like Ropes and Ranch is close to us. We go out there quite a bit. It's a retirement community. But to watch them watch my players hit a driver, it's pretty funny. And because they hit it, it's unbelievable how far they hit it and how good they hit it. Just really, and the women's side is a little more, the guys are bombing it left or right and then wedging it out of the rough, and the ladies just hit it dead straight. And positioning into pins and things like that. It's a little more art, I think, than the men's game. But
more technical.
I do thoroughly enjoy watching them play, and the things that they're able to accomplish is. And as you alluded to, the game has gotten so much better over the years, whether it be the training, the coaching, the equipment. the scores
Right.
have
Right.
come down so far. I had a young lady on my team shoot 64 this year. 64. She broke the school record, and it was amazing. Like, so
Wow.
it's like
D-
when somebody does it. What's the analogy of the 4 minute mile? Nobody had ever done it. Then once somebody did it,
Yep. Right.
you know,
Yep.
same deal in golf.
Now all of
Once
a
you get
sudden
these
there's.
numbers,
Hmm.
yeah, it just continues to
Yep.
lot between the ears for sure.
Do you get do you get to give them any technical coaching? Do you get to that level with them, or do they have swing coaches and individual, or do you actually give them instruction?
A few of them, most of them have swing coaches, and so I'm a big proponent of you need to have a central voice with the swing because some people you get too many people in your ears and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
got a
Yep.
lot of trust with some really good swing coaches, and to be honest, I've gotten some players because of those relationships with swing coaches, but they know I'm not going to mess them up. Obviously, I have the background to get in there, but I don't. I
Yeah.
do course management, short game, and then I do have conversations with swing coaches about this is what I see. Last time you saw her, what did you talk about? And with technology, if they're from another country, they're able to share video, with through their phone or whatever means and stay on top of it. But I am a big proponent in I recruit swings that I like and then don't mess them up. Like, if they've gotten to this
Yeah.
level with their swing coach, keep doing what you're doing. So many coaches I see, they recruit players and they start messing with their swing. You have 20 hours a week, you're going tournament to tournament. You don't have time during the
Yeah.
season to
Right.
do that. Now, obviously, there are
Nope.
some alignment issues or
Yeah.
maybe grip or some small things like that. We've been fortunate. We have some really good club fitters in our area, and I've kind of learned ball fitting, club fitting, and those when you get really good, the details are huge. That 1 degree, whatever it is, the
Yep.
shaft with the driver. So I've seen some amazing things happen with the club fitting component, and we are so fortunate to have the people next to us
Okay.
that we do. And I'm in a position where I'm able to buy their equipment for them, and the wedges, those wedges need to be replaced. Those grooves wear down as much as they practice, so try to have fresh grooves for them,
That's
and
nice.
just the details matter. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
question is, I'm not in there tinkering with their swing. Just
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
with experience, I've learned it's not good. Like these coaches that change it. Why did you
Right.
recruit that
Right.
swing in the first? You didn't like the swing. Why'd you recruit it? Now you're going to try to overhaul it.
Right. Wait.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But
Yeah. 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 That's a good point. Well, I've taken up a lot of your time, man. Appreciate you being here. Anything else you want to add? Any advice you want to say give to a young golfer, those out there that are potentially thinking about playing,
well, I think
extending past
like
high school, or those young women that you're looking at?
yeah, I think that depending what state you're in, you need to try to get like I'm paying attention to the tournaments where they're playing similar yardage to where we're going to play. So even in Texas, some of these high school tournaments are playing from red tees. And I'll never forget, I was fortunate enough to get the 5A state
Mm,
champion to come to UNT. She just graduated, but went to watch her in high school. And I'm looking at these distances she's playing on, and her mom and her grandma were watching. And she finally gets to a hole that's, I'm thinking, okay, well, here's a legitimate par three. And she pulls out hybrid. She knocks it on the green, and her mom says it's par four. And I'm like, what? So you got to play, AJGA or Texas Junior
yeah.
Golf Tour. You got to play some distances that are legit because coaches are smart. They're gonna look at that. And then, if you want to play college golf, reach out to the coach directly via email. The videos are great with the swing videos. And it doesn't have to be a professionally produced thing, just a little YouTube clip of the swing.
Sure.
But being independent, and I'm trying to raise my boys to be independent, and maybe it's selfish on my part, but to get a student athlete in here that's going to take care of her business and, everything that's involved, there's so much to it. So, I always ask them, do you wash your clothes at home? I'm getting ready to be able to talk to the class of 28 here. June 15th is the first time I can actually talk to them. So, I'm going to ask those questions and, find out how independent they are. And social media, man, there are some mistakes being made there from young people that coaches are looking at that. And you have to be so careful what you put out there,
yeah.
It is very telling and something I certainly pay attention to. Obviously I'm looking at golf scores and grades, but then I'm also thinking I'm going to be around this young lady almost every day for 4 years. And what kind of person is she?
Yeah. Character. Yep.
Character matters. And, I'm at the point where I'm not going to deal with stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Oh yeah, I do.
Life's too short to deal with, the issue. And also on a team as small as a golf team, you make one mistake and you get one bad apple in there, it can just upset the entire dynamic of your team. So, due diligence.
Well, like they say, culture you can take years to build and then minutes or seconds to
100%
tear down or
that's
break
right.
it. Yeah. So to your point, you got to protect that. That's good stuff. I mean, you out of all the things you listed, clearly you got to be able to score. Those are the givens, right? Score at the distance, and then the others are more human personality side. What do you like in life? What do you like? What kind of person? Yeah. What about advice for an old guy like me?
Well, it's kind of funny
from golf.
The flexibility component, you can still stretch and it looks like you do a lot of walking, and which is great. But my assistant coach, he's from Abilene, Kansas, and his dad lives in Manhattan. And his dad actually played college golf with me at Fort Hays, but super athlete. And he's always texting his son about trying to gain distance, and I just laugh. And I like, dude, you got a lot of things going against you, because when you start aging, it's just part of the deal. And but anyway, like
focus on straight,
right? And maybe the equipment, maybe the shaft needs to have more flex, or But I think that the flexibility component, which you can still maintain some flexibility, and by stretching but you look like you do a good job of getting out there and staying in shape, which is great. But the equipment, maybe, when's the last time you changed equipment? Has it been a long time?
2 years ago, I finally got rid of my 30-some-year-old pings. In fact, I went on the website to see if Ping, they stopped listing that model.
Yes.
They're so old. A couple years ago, I went out and got some new equipment. Yep.
Did you
to your point,
you still have the copper pins?
Noticed a big difference. So those were two sets ago. So I still have the coppers. Yes, I still have those. Yeah, won't get rid of those.
I think they're worth a lot of money.
Yeah. And then are they?
Yeah.
I've still got the copper beryllium, and then got the ISI. Then I went to ISI, I think, at the time, and now I think it's the 550 or something like that, 540. I'm not sure. But to your point, I gained just by switching equipment probably club and a half from a distance in the irons.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's something that people don't want to admit, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what shaft you have. It matters where the ball goes. So anyway, I kind of joke.
That's right. Yeah.
Friends with that. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time
to
reach me out and inviting me, and it's certainly great to catch up.
Thank you. I wanted to tell you, I still remember back, and we talked about it, and just to kind of close it here, competed with you on the golf team, and you were you pushed me. I mean, you didn't try, just your example made me try and want to be better. Because you went out and competed. I remember the time and effort you put in, and it made me at the time, I didn't want to admit that. I was, competing with you, and I didn't like that at times. But looking back, the example that you set made me want to try and be better. And I would also probably say big reason why we ended up, like you said, our team ends up winning state. And so, thank you for that. And it's not a surprise that you've gone from there to what you're doing now, and you've kept building in the program that you've got going. So, dude, I wish you all the best and continued success. And we need to meet up. If you're in Lawrence, I'd love to let's go out and play, or let's road trip to Smoky. Let's go play. I will tell you, Shane, if you remember Shane, he sent me a picture. It was our freshman year. He sent me a golf pic, Shane Collins, of our team with Blazer the other day. And you talk about going back memory lane. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, have a great summer, and good to see you, man.
Great to see you. Take care. Thanks again, Lance.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Yep.
Bye.
See ya. What part of your story might be shaping who you're becoming, even if you haven't fully named it yet? This is the Fort Builders. Thanks for being part of the build.